Howdy everybody and Happy New Year. Hope everybody's ready for a good 2026. So last video what we did was just take a little tour around the land and kind of show you various aspects, and today we are going to do a little bit of the same thing except from a different view. I'm going to put up a screen recording of my computer and just show you a satellite image of the land and various aspects of it, and talk about the planning of it, and go through some drafts of the training loops that I've got in mind right now. So let's get started. So right here you see the bulk of this is all of my land. And then I went ahead and made a border for where the property lines roughly are. So here on the east side, it's lined by these trees over here. South side, once again, just got another tree line. West side, some trees along the line, but it's all fencing along here. And then the north side, it's all bordered by a road. So have all of this to work with, of course, with the house up here, and everything else is just somewhat open land. And then on top of that, I went ahead and made a line of where all the fencing is out here. So fencing mostly around the perimeter, and then got some additional fencing along the inside. And some of this isn't totally enclosed off, like over here it's just kind of fence posts where there used to be fencing, but it's not totally closed off. But I mean, there's fencing all along here, and there's various gates in through here too. And then there's this one small fenced in area that extends out all the way into the pond. So that is the idea of the fencing. So there's not a whole lot that I have to worry about. I think considering I'm not planning on using this area up here, I don't really have to worry about knocking out any of that fencing. Probably just a couple spots here along this stretch where I want to knock out a couple small sections. I'll probably leave this section all here, and then I might take all of this out near the pond completely. So then also in my last video towards the beginning, I talked about having kind of a home base area. So that's this whole area over here is where I would like that home base area to be, for multiple reasons here. One, because there's a lot of parking available up here near the house, so it makes sense to have it close to there. There's also this RV port over here that has water and electricity available. And then so I'm thinking the start of most of our training loop distances will be somewhere in this area. So good open area over here where I wouldn't be having any of the loop incorporated in there, so that can be used for kind of a dynamic warm-up area, strides, and of course strides can be done on the path as well. But yeah, just kind of a mingle area, an area where they can be during in between reps during the rest periods. And of course the RV port will have a good shady area as well in case we're doing a workout in the heat at some point. So now we'll start from scratch here, and I'll talk you through kind of my ideas with creating this loop and various drafts and how my thoughts evolved on it. And it should give you a good idea on if you wanted to, if you're ever in the position where you're designing your own loop or cross-country course, kind of a starting point and how to think about the easiest way to go about it. So starting point for me is making a 1K loop around the perimeter. So as I mentioned in the last video, this is roughly 300 meters by 200 meters. So if you went straight around the perimeter, it would be very, very close to 1K. But of course, as I mentioned, there's areas of this that I don't want to use. But if you start with a 1K loop around the perimeter, then you can use all of the inside areas to build off of that. So I just kind of start off on Google Earth Pro and making some, drafting up some 1K loops, and there were some problems with this one, but as I mentioned, knock out a couple areas of fence over here, home base area here, over here, so you kind of have your start point, and then you just wrap around. That's mostly around the perimeter, but you got to weave in a little bit. But over here, I think this is actually a little bit too far west and goes into the neighbor's property a little bit. But anyway, so this was kind of the starting point for me. And this would be exactly 1,000 meters. And then I wanted to utilize the inside so we get a little variety. So we can do different distance of reps for workouts. So something I wanted to start with was adding an additional 400 meter loop on the inside. So that was relatively easy. Once again, I want to kind of keep this area as the start and finish point for as many rep distances as possible. So adding a 400 meter loop, very, very simple. I want to mesh this together. I want to be able to mesh these loops together as much as I can, but also have some unique paths. I don't want everything to feel too monotonous, but I also don't want to have too much land to take care of. So there's definitely some overlapping on these loops, but enough to give us some variety. So 400 meter loop mostly sticks to the 1K loop, but then just has this additional turn on the inside, and it's pretty close to shaped like a track. So that would be very simple if we're doing a workout of mixed reps and we're doing a 1K followed by a faster 400 or something. You could do a perimeter loop and then do a 400 loop. So that was kind of one addition to the 1K loop on the outside. And then I played around with making a 600 meter loop. So this is some additional paths mostly on the north end. So let me take away this 400 meter loop here. So if we're taking a look at just the 1K loop and the 600 loop, I guess the 600 loop by itself would be right here. The main problem with this one is the fact that if you want to do 600 reps, you can't start and finish on the in the main home base area. So the 600 loop up here, but I really wanted to add this to do like 1600 loops. So 1K loop and a 600 loop. So you'd basically run around up here, and then you do an inside loop first, and then you keep running around it, and then the perimeter loop. And so of course a 600 and a 1K equals 1600. So that is one other addition to add some variety. And then I also made an 800 meter loop over here. So this loop that utilizes mostly the south end is exactly 800 meters. So that's another option for doing a couple 800 loops to make it a 1600. So if you put it all together, this is kind of what we're left with. Now this wasn't the final draft, and I still don't know if I do have the final draft, but I wanted to just, even though I kind of liked this design and the thoughts of it, I wanted to think it through a little bit more, sit on it, and just see if I was able to come up with any better ideas. Of course, I also mentioned that I needed to edit this area over here to make sure it's all on my property as well. Moving on, I also had another idea, and I got to thinking about this 400 meter loop a little bit more, and I was wondering, what if I could make that the exact shape of a 400 meter loop? Because that would be a great area for it. If we go back to looking at it from scratch, I mean, all this area over here, this east side over here is all the higher ground, very flat area, and then once you get kind of halfway, it starts gradually sloping downwards, and then maybe you get 3/4 of the way and it's a little bit steeper down. So here on this west end is all the lower area, and then it kind of climbs uphill to the pond and stays up higher on this area. So this area over here being the high ground and being very flat, I was like, well, that's a perfect area for a track. So I started looking at dimensions of good outdoor 400 meter tracks in the area, and kind of putting it in there and seeing how it fits in. And here's what we came up with. And this track is basically shaped like our new outdoor track is going to be, very close to it anyways. And so the straightaways are about 75 meters long, and then the curves are about 125 meters long. So this turn has about a 39 meter radius, which is NCAA legal, even though that doesn't matter because of course this is just training grounds, but it's nice to have an area that's shaped exactly like an outdoor track would be. So again, still utilizes this being the home base area, and so I thought, why don't I just start with this and then build the 1K loop on top of that. So starting with the 400 meter grass track now, came up with another draft for a 1K loop. So if we're doing a 1K, once again, just start back here, probably towards the end of this turn over here, and go all the way around the perimeter, and we are at a full 1K. And then it's same as I described before, where if you want to do a mixture of 1K and 400 loops, you have that. And then the 600 meter loop is pretty close to what I had before as well. So once again, kind of stays on the north end over here, meshing into the 1K loop, but over here definitely get to utilize this little uphill from the low ground up to the pond and run through the trees a little bit. Once again, same problems where we're just not starting and finishing reps in the home base area, but probably pretty rare that we would be doing 600 loops. And then so here's the 600 loop and the 1K loop combined. And then I thought about still making that 800 loop. So take away everything and throw up the 800 loop. And this one utilizes mostly where the grass track would be, and then mostly the south end, but then this also utilizes the hill up to the pond. And then so if we were to put it all together, here's what we have for all of the training paths. So this is about a little under a mile, probably a little under 1,500 meters of unique paths, which I think that's the good blend of not being too much land for me to take care of and maintain and create, but also having the variety that we need to have all the different training distances we need, make it easy to do, and also just not make it too monotonous. So here's how we do just about every distance of rep we could possibly do out here with some variety as well, some options for certain reps. So of course, starting with just the grass track, I mean, you could do anything you want on here. Of course, when we're doing a lot of threshold work and everything, I like to utilize a little bit of variety in the terrain, but if you really wanted to, you could do any distance of rep on the grass track just like you can a normal track. So if you're doing definitely anywhere, if you're doing 200s or 300s, you'd probably want to stick to the grass track, and of course 400s as well. But if you want to do 600s or 800s or 1Ks, you could stay on the grass track just like you could a normal track. But if we kind of work our way up from there, if we're doing 600s, as I mentioned, we can just stick to the 600 meter loop. If we're doing 800s, we can stick to the 800 meter loop, or technically we could just do the grass track for 2 laps. If we want to do 1K loops, of course that is very easy, just going around the perimeter for 1,000 meters. Working our way up from there, 1,200 meter reps, we could utilize the 600 meter loop and do that twice, or we could do the 1K loop in addition to utilizing an extra 200 meters on the track. So we could do 1K around there, do 200 meters more to make it 1,200. We just have a little different finish point than our start point. And then 1,600 reps, which is a very common threshold rep distance. We have a lot of variety there. The first option, as I mentioned before with the previous draft, is just mixing the 600 loop with the 1K loop. So as usual, we start over here and we start going around the perimeter, and then we utilize that inside loop first and then wrap back around the entire perimeter, and then that is our 1,600 loop. And then of course you can also get some variety by doing reverse direction for any loop we might do. And then the other option for 1,600 reps is using the 800 meter loop. Once again, you can go either direction, but you just do 2 of the 800 loops to make a 1,600 rep. And then working our way up from there. Generally anything above 1,600 would be in increments of 1K for most of what we do. So of course that would be easy, and you just need to do as many loops as you need to around the perimeter for a 2K rep or a 3K rep or a 4K, whatever it might be. You know, sometimes we might be doing a long tempo run. Maybe we're doing 8,000 or 10,000 meters, and you can just stick to looping around, once again, 8 or 10 laps. So once again, getting every single one of our paths up here, this is what we are working with. And then I figure I'll make each of these paths all the way through about 10 feet wide, because the goal would be to get a mower with a 60-inch or 5-foot deck to where I just need to basically do 2 passes through every part of the path to get it mowed, which wouldn't be too terribly time consuming. And then a different area that I kind of want to maintain pretty well is over here, as I kind of have called the home base area. So maybe not need to keep it super nice, but at least keep the grass short, so another area to mow. Eventually maybe get some benches out here or whatever, but yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, got the RV port over here, you got water, you got electricity, got lots of parking. So yeah, that's kind of the ideas and the theory behind creating the loop, and hopefully I can make it work. So that's pretty much it for this video, and the next step is trying to put some of this into action and get to work out there, because I would like to get some work done on the land and make the path and make it good footing and give some time for grass to grow and make it all good and ready over the spring and summer to be ready for the cross country season in the fall. So I will see you in the next video whenever that is.